Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the Queers of Time podcast.
I'm Matt.
I'm James.
I'm Kenny.
And I'm Kat.
And this is a podcast to talk about all the gay stuff in the Wheel of Time.
Because we're gay and we like the Wheel of Time. So as always, shout out to Lux, our feral venerator of Serene, for the support. It's been a year and like 3 months since you've been supporting us. It's incredible. And also shout out to Kevin for the promo video and to Travis for the help with the transcription.
Do you little queers have enough character? Well, we at Queers of Time certainly don't, because we literally couldn't handle the brilliance that was episode 1 of season 2 of The Wheel of Time. Or, as Matt calls it, the will of time.
Yeah, the wheel.
The wheel.
Wheel without an H.
Without an H. Come on, Matt.
It literally sounds the same, I'm sorry to say.
I know.
Why are you even bothering?
Because he misspelled it and I need him to know.
Okay.
That's right. We're back talking about new episodes. Unpacking that dragon, there it is, bussy, learning those weaves, drinking that stank water. We're talking about it all and more today on Queers of Time. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Matt, for the intro. Matt actually could not join us for the recording, but he told me that he will be recording a little something sometime this weekend, and I try to add that probably at the end of the episode, so we can at least have his thoughts on the first episode of the second season of The Wheel of Time. It's finally here.
We did it, Joe.
It's been 84 years.
Been 84 years, truly.
Literally. Okay, we're gonna do 2 parts within this episode. A first part that doesn't contain any book spoiler. We're just gonna focus on the TV show. And then we'll have a second part that will be handling book spoiler.
We'll get into it.
Very spoilers.
Very much heavy on the spoilers. Yeah.
Okay, so Kat.
Yes.
You wanted to talk about the Dark Friend Social.
Yeah, I know this is it's a clip that we had previously, but I'm still really impressed with what it accomplished, because it showed, like, it didn't show anyone's face. It was all through the sort of point of view of the child. But you saw people's outfits. You saw people's, like, you could kind of tell if it was masculine or feminine or other, like, you could see sort of from people's frames kind of get an idea of it, but that's really it. And it showed just how widespread the Dark Friends are and how influential they are as well, because some of those people were dressed very well. Like, it was obvious.
Right.
Yeah.
I will say there was one that you knew.
Yes.
That they want you to know, Suroth.
Yes.
There's one that they were like, hey, this person.
This one.
This one bad.
This one. Yes, exactly.
This one bad, yes.
Yeah, this one is bad news. I just appreciate that they did it that way instead of sort of, I don't think it would have worked in the way that it was sort of explained in the books.
Mm-hmm.
I like this way of doing it because it really gives you just the scope of things and how much there is going on behind the scenes. It's that theme, I think, again, that's going to continue through, of just expanding everything. Everything is just bigger and bigger than anyone thought it was.
Ishmael looks great. He's serious. He gets his thing. It's like, the book has him a little bit like crazy and that's it. But this is a guy with a motivation and...
Yeah. Fair's, he's perfect. He's so good as a Ishmael. And I'm very pleasantly surprised of how much we're getting of him. I wasn't expecting it, but I'm excited.
Yeah. He's very creepy while being very sane, and that's how sane he is makes him even creepier.
Yep.
It's cold. He's very cold.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. But he gives the illusion, like that with the child, he gives the illusion of being warm, but you can see because she's a child, she doesn't know. She's not able to necessarily pick up on the nuances of what's going on with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is stone cold.
So, do we want to go to the Moraine and Lan and Varen and Adelius of it all, or the Egwene and Nynaeve and the Tower?
Let's start with Moraine, because Moraine is right what we see right after that. We spend literally like 5 minutes watching her take her bath in pain.
That depression bath.
let me just read word for word what I wrote in the notes.
Go for it.
Moraine is being an absolute fucking bitch, and I hate her for it. Like, I don't know how she's going to come back from this. I love her so much, and I get it, but it would honestly be easier to just stab him in the face. Him being Lan.
It's actually very funny because what I wrote in my notes is like, Moraine is pushing Lan away, and it would be so easy to say, oh, she's just a bitch. But Varen, Thomas, and Adelias really put some words into what she's going through.
Yeah.
I understand it. That's the thing.
It still hurts.
Yes, it still hurts. Yeah.
Like, we get her.
And she knows what she's doing. That's the most painful thing is she knows and Lan knows.
And she hates herself for it. She hates it.
But at what point is that redeemable? Because I'm like, I love Moraine. We all know Moraine is like my favorite character. And yet.
But she's not doing anything worse that she does in the books, because she's a fucking bitch in the second and third book.
Wow, it's really easy to say someone's just a bitch.
This is the thing.
No, but like, she's pushing, she knows she's gonna die. She lost her power. She's in a phase like she knows what she has to fight for. She knows she cannot protect her water anymore because she doesn't have access to the power anymore. And she's convinced she's gonna die in this fight.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't want him to die for me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. She is to put it simply, going through it.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. She is going through it. And to me it was obvious that she doesn't want to do this. And Lan knows that this is like, Lan is completely aware that she is doing this for a reason. He may not completely understand the scope of that reason, but he gets what she's doing, which I think makes it more painful.
Yes.
Because he's trying to tell her, you don't need to do this. I want to be there for you. And she's
kind of doing similarly to Rand. Because Rand, at the end of the last season, he basically pushed everyone away. And that's what she's doing too. They're both stupid.
It's kind of what Rand does in The Great Hunt.
Yeah.
It's a similar sort of thing that Rand does in The Great Hunt, where he intentionally pushes people away because, he doesn't want to hurt them.
At least the drama of like Moraine and Lan going through it is compensated by Varen, Thomas, and Adelias, who are all three of them amazing. Adelias is such a horny mood.
Adelias is like,
I wrote something in my chaotic note, and I want to see whether that fits. Adelias is our James. In the Wheel of Time, Adelias is our James.
I mean, kind of.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, I mean, so this is not really a book spoiler, so I'm not gonna save it for the spoiler part. But in the books, the character that Adelias is named Vandene, because Vandene is the green and Adelias is brown.
Yes.
And the reason that they changed it is because Varen and Vandene are like the same name. So honestly, and Adelias is objectively a better name.
I agree. So, it's good.
It's a nice name. Nice fantasy name.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's a great character. I'm excited to see her develop a little bit because I would like to see her be more than just horny. But also, she's just horny. That's okay. Slut representation matters.
And that's okay. And sometimes that's enough. I also do like, she brings a different perspective of an Aes Sedai without a warder that is not red. Where like the Red Sisters, they have a very specific viewpoint on not having a warder. They are very anti-warder.
As we saw.
But Adelias is not, it's not that she's anti-warder, she just doesn't have one. And it's interesting the difference in advice that she gives to Lan regarding Moraine and the different advice that sort of Varen gives. Because Varen has a very different viewpoint. And you can kind of see Varen and Tomas like giving each other looks as Adelias is speaking to Lan. and being like,
it was amazing.
Yeah, they're just like, she doesn't get it. She doesn't get it. And it's great because I like that we get that because she doesn't get it. How could she possibly get it? She doesn't know what it is to have that kind of connection.
Bond.
Yeah, that kind of bond. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You had something to say, Kat, I saw about Varian Study.
Mm-hmm. It's a book lover's dream. It's a book lover's dream.
Yeah.
It's so, I mean, set design in general is really, really well done this season.
I agree.
Place in making things not just look so stark. It looks very lived in. It looks like someone is continuously living and working and studying there. It's just, I love it. I would love to visit that set.
Yeah.
It looks amazing.
And that's the thing. The set design is like so many tiers above season 1.
Oh, yeah.
And that's not to say that season 1 was bad. It is to say that season 1 had the budget of a show that they didn't know how it was going to go. So they didn't want to invest a whole bunch. They invested.
Yeah. I have one request regarding Variant Studies because there's a lot of paper on Moraine's desk, especially written in Old Tongue. I want someone to take screenshot of that and do the translation of that to know whether, because I'm sure they didn't put paper that doesn't mean anything because they like details.
It just says pussy. It just says pussy over and over and over.
Well, even if that's the case, I want to know, okay?
It says pussy and cock all over the place. That's it.
It says pussy, dick, pussy, dick.
No, they're not going to put cock. Moraine is using that desk, so...
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Okay.
The last thing I had on Rosamund Pike, and I'm sorry, I'm doing that thing that I hate that people do where they conflate the actor and the character. Because I wrote in my notes unintentionally, Rosamund Pike with her killing the Fade. Like, to me, that wasn't Moraine that did that. To me, that was Rosamund Pike that did that. So Moraine killing the Fade without the one power, like, that just shows that she's incredibly smart without the one power because she deduced the patterns that it was teleporting in. Also, I love that they gave the Fades teleportation powers because they have them.
Yes.
They move through the shadow.
But even without the one power, stabbing a Fade through the mouth, like, no one can do that. She did.
Moraine did it. And you know what? That kind of quick thinking is very in line with Moraine from the books too. Because
Yeah. I mean, that knife, I've seen many things.
It's seen some stuff. It's seen some shit, for sure.
Should we move to the White Tower? What's happening in the White Tower?
Oh my god.
Talking about Egwene, maybe, first.
Yeah.
Oh, Egwene, my sweet baby girl.
Baby girl, sweet baby girl.
This was such a good character development for her, because I wrote in my notes, I'm like, she's a straight up paladin. Like, in D&D classes, she is a paladin. She's like putting in her time. She knows it's beneath her. But she's like, everybody else did this. Even the Amerlin did this. It's important that I do it too. And Alana saying, you have 2 capable hands. It'd be easier if you use them. And Egwene saying, I didn't come here for easy, you stupid bitch.
I was actually curious because, Egwene wants to learn and is willing to do all the work to learn. And Nynaeve is always saying no. And I'm kind of curious whether... is she also being difficult just to be like, hey, I can be difficult too if it's what you're into?
Yeah, I think Egwene is... I think she is trying to prove something.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily know if it has anything to do with the fact that she wants to, like, ooh, look at me, I'm special too. I think it's... Well, she does, obviously. But I don't think it's entirely that. I think it's more... I know I'm capable of more, so I'm going to do more.
Yeah.
Especially for the hands, because that's a direct callback to season 1.
Yes. Yeah.
She said, I didn't need that.
Yeah.
Why do you need that?
Why do you need it? Yeah.
Weak bitch.
And it's dangerous not to be able to do the power without hands.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh God, what if they cut off Egwene's hands?
No.
Why would you say that? Why would you say that, James?
Don't put it into the word.
Oh my God. I think too, like, sometimes, I mean, I forget that Egwene comes from a very high-ranking family in Two Rivers terms. And so I think she is used to being seen.
Right.
She is used to being seen. She's used to being known. She's used to being acknowledged. That's not a negative thing. It's just, I think
it's her reality.
It's her reality. And she is not used to this. She is not used to a reality where
Liane throws a cup at her.
Yes, exactly. Like, she's like, what is... And I think the two parts of her are sort of struggling with this because she wants to be seen, whatever the reason is. She wants to be seen. She knows that she's capable, but she's like, no matter what I do, everyone always asks me about Nynaeve.
Yeah.
They always ask me about my friend. And she understands why. It's not that she doesn't get why that's happening, but she's like, this is not fair.
But what about Egwene?
But what about Egwene?
What about Egwene?
Yes, like she is doing. Nobody puts Egwene in the corner.
Nobody.
She is doing that sort of like.
You know who puts Egwene in a corner? Nynaeve is allowed to put Egwene in a corner. That is it.
That's the only one.
That's where it stops.
Yeah.
I think this is a very good Egwene episode.
Mm-hmm.
I also very much loved Alana in this episode.
She's so good.
She's so good.
She came straight from fucking to teach a lesson.
I mean,
her dedication.
We gotta stand. Let's give it up for Alana.
Let's give it to Alana.
I mean, Alana already got it several times.
She got it.
I mean, I'm still laughing at Alana, Maxim, and even fucking, and Egwene is literally in the room.
I know. And like, Alana seeing her and being like, Egwene? Like,
Egwene?
Hi.
Wanna join?
Yeah, I was like, you want to join? No, that's inappropriate.
Like, no, I shouldn't do that.
But since when has Alana ever cared about appropriate?
Well, there it is.
She's amazing. I really love how that trio, like Alana, Maxim even, is getting a lot more important than in season 1.
Right. They were there in season 1.
They all get very distinct personalities. They all get a lot of lines, like even Maxim and even.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had their moment with Nynaeve during the sword training.
That's such a great scene.
Yeah, and we got really good insight into a bit more of their dynamic as well, because Maxim, I think it's Maxim that says, I fell in love with a warder, and Ivan said, I fell in love with an Aes Sedai. I was like, that is interesting. I like this.
Yeah.
I know. And then I'm like, Taylor Napier?
Uh-huh.
Like, I'm sorry, Maxim. I'm gonna be real bad about this season.
Yeah, you are.
Maxim was like feeling like the third wheel, and I'm like, oh baby.
Yeah.
Don't feel like the third wheel.
I can come for you. Were you like, I can come for you?
Did you say I can come for you?
That was, I mean,
comfort.
But maybe. Not me.
I mean, he liked my tweet saying that I love him, so
yeah, there you go. So
he knows what's up.
Yeah. Oh, also, can I just say, I love how the show is very sex positive about them?
Mm-hmm.
It's sex positive without, like, being gratuitous.
Yeah, it's great.
And that's how you do it. You don't have to show, well, I would appreciate it if you showed Yvonne entering Maxim, but, you know, you don't have to.
You would enjoy some bareback action.
Yeah, but like between them and between like Adelia's basically just lurking at Lan. Yeah, sex is fine. Sex is okay.
Yeah.
And then in episode 2, you get...
Yeah, we'll talk about that when we'll get to that.
Yeah.
A little bit of choking never hurt anyone.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
Title of the episode.
That's
Room and board is expensive.
Yes, absolutely. In this economy?
In this economy?
Oh, boy.
What else do we have on the White Tower?
Leandrine,
I loved the line. I love the shade Alana threw at her, being like, everyone's taught her. Oh, I'm sorry. Everyone that's allowed to teach her. And then Leandrine let a novice die? Like,
wild.
What? Wild. I am so curious about her.
Yeah.
I'm like... So this is not a spoiler. This is if you are a close watcher, you will note that Leandrine lied.
Yes.
About Matt?
To Matt, when reading that letter, she said there was no mention of Matt, even though the letter clearly mentioned Matt.
She said there was no mention of Matt Cousin. So I'm kind of curious whether she's playing around that, saying Matt and not Matt Cousin.
I think she lied. So I am curious as to if she's a dark friend.
Yeah.
Did she let that novice die? Who was the novice? Was it Elsie Grinwell?
Yeah. Oh my God. Can you imagine?
No, I think Elsie Grinwell was one of the novices watching the warders, the one in the middle specifically.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Like, I know exactly which one I think it is.
Yeah. Leandrin is playing 3-dimensional chess this season.
5.
She is doing a lot this season. And to the point where I can't quite figure out
I don't get her
route they're gonna. Yeah, I don't know which route they're going to take with her, because they kind of like they set up in season 1 her interest in Nynaeve, and I can't quite figure out if she's being genuine in her interest with Nynaeve, in that like she sees a lot in her and she wants to, but I can't believe that she wants to do good things with Nynaeve, like that she has good plans for Nynaeve, but then what plans does she have is my question.
I really like the dynamic between Nynaeve and Leandrin.
It's fantastic.
That scene with the sword.
That scene did so much work.
It did.
For the Ajas.
Yeah. This is something I'm really impressed with what they're doing this season, in like a scene that seems fairly straightforward, has a lot of implications and teaches show-only fans a lot of different things. And so we're learning, like, it's revealing a lot about the weaves. It's revealing a lot about the motivations behind different Ajas and just like characters and like shielding, and the way that she describes how shielding feels is also significant.
Yeah.
And also it looks cool. That sword looks really cool. Yeah. The VFX, like the special effects, look incredible this season.
Yeah. It was a very great scene. I hate saying that because it's Leandrin we're talking about. Mm-hmm. But I'm like so intrigued by her and desperate to know more.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, how do we love this character?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, yeah, she's not good. She's not good. Like
she's a bitch and we like her.
Yes. And that's kind of like, there were a number of times in my own chaos notes where I was like, Leandrin, you asshole. You asshole.
I don't get what right she has.
I know.
Like, see, episode 2 is her episode, and we'll get to that. But like, even in this one, she's
how dare you?
Yeah.
She's a main character.
Oh yeah.
Like, and that's not something I was ever expecting from the Wheel of Time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They took someone who is very two-dimensional, to be completely honest, very two-dimensional in the books, and didn't have a lot going for her, and made her into this full, like, really well-rounded character who is complex and compelling. And I think it says a lot about the way she's written, and also just the acting by Kate Fleetwood. It says a lot that we're so intrigued and like her, and hate that we like her so much, and yeah, she's fantastic.
Like, even show-only viewers know that she isn't, like, supposed to be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of what level of not good she is. Like, that's what we're waiting for the reveal of. For the other shoe to drop with her.
Yeah, especially with everything regarding Matt. Like, it's that's actually something to kind of
that's right,
bring it to other people, because so far we've talked a lot about the girls and Moraine. One thing that I really, really, really like in this episode was that they brought back Beltane, and it was a wonderful scene. And like, Beltane in general is always like, Beltane is already something that I really liked about the first episode of season 1, because I thought it was a very beautiful scene and very moving. I think them using it again in this episode was very smart for a few reasons. Like, it was a good time indicator. We know it's been a year. And a lot of time have passed, and still things are like, Perrin is still struggling with Layla's death.
Yeah.
It's been months and months and months since Rand is gone, and Egwene still misses him a lot. Matt hasn't seen his friend probably in like 9 months, something like that.
Yeah.
And so you get, it's really, you really get all of the Two Rivers folks thinking about their friends and thinking about how lonely it feels to be separated from them. And I really liked Perrin's letter. I think there was some, like it was, I didn't think Perrin could actually write pretty letters, but now in our separate corners of the world, every day feels exposed is such a beautiful way of saying that he misses them.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was nice to see that again. I saw it, same music that in the first episode of the first season, and it's literally my favorite music of like the whole first season. And I love that we got it back again. And it was great way to show where Matt and Rand were,
right?
Because that was the reveal. Like we got Matt with Leandrine telling him the letter that Perrin had sent, and we got Rand lighting a lantern while he's in the foregate of Cairn.
Right.
And we also got Perrin with his ring. And that scene kind of broke me.
Oh my God.
I was yelling at the TV.
Yeah.
I was like, you dumb bitch, put that fucking ring back on.
No, James.
I was like, you are not done mourning.
Yeah.
The designated 365 days of mourning after killing your wife. Yep, that's how long it takes. You dumb bitch, put it back on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's obvious that he is transitioning in his grief, in where he's directing the blame for it, because his anger, his very justified anger at Pat and Fane it's this episode, I think, right? Yeah.
Yes, it's this episode, and it was an incredible discussion with Ingtar.
It was fantastic, and just like he's talking about this rage that's. Marcus Rutherford is killing it as parent. I knew that he would. I knew that he had it in him, but he's getting really, really good, I think, dialogue and content. And I'm so happy that we're getting good parent content. Who would have thought? But the way that he describes Pat and Fane as like, we gave him food, we welcomed him into our community, and this is what he did. And I'm impressed with the way that they've made Perrin sort of reconcile with his grief in realizing what I did was a mistake. It was an accident. It was not a situation of my making, but
I don't think he's fully there.
No, he's not.
I think he's maybe like, he just opened that door a little bit, being like, maybe it's not 100% my fault.
Yes.
But he's gonna blame himself for it for the rest of his life.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I think he's like redirecting his anger to Fane.
I think so.
Yeah, I don't think it's healthy. I think he's avoiding.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But we don't know what's going on.
He's almost there. He's like he's in the right direction, because he's right. It's not, what happened is not his fault. It was a situation that came to be from many different sources.
It existed. It happened.
But I completely agree. He is putting everything into finding Fane, and it's not healthy. It's very much not healthy. But this is how he is coping with it. This is his coping mechanism for now, anyway.
Yeah.
I think I enjoyed Perrin's scenes. I'm very curious as to how the wolf visions are going to work.
Yeah.
Because I realize, I mean, this is small book spoilers, but it's book 1, so whatever. Like in the books, it's smell derived, so obviously you can't have him doing that bewitched thing where he's like sniffing his nose. Like, it has to be something, and I don't think they could have translated that well, so maybe they're just making this a wolf power or something, and that's cool.
I really like it. I really like what they've done so far, because it really feels like every time he has a vision, there's some wolf howling. So it really feels like there's a wolf giving him information about what happened.
Right.
And so far, Perrin doesn't really understand that it's something that the wolf is giving him.
Right.
But yeah, it's just wolves that are transmitting something that his brain is translating that into visions that it doesn't really know what to make of so far.
Yeah, right. I like making them visual because obviously they have to be. I'm just curious as to like the metaphysics of it.
Right. Yeah.
I agree.
It's we kind of, so we were talking about this on the Dusty Wheel actually yesterday, and someone mentioned that they look similar-ish to the visions that Min gets.
Right.
But whereas Min's are moving forward, like they're moving forward, parents are going kind of in reverse. Like they're which I think is a really clever, because I get what they're trying to do. I think they're trying to make it, because in the books he can, correct me if I'm wrong, he gets visions from the wolves, right? Like he gets images from the wolves.
Right. So the wolves see things and he gets it. Yeah.
I think that's what's happening, but there's not really a good way to just sit down and explain that. And so I think they're just trying to show, at least right now, I think they're trying to show it.
The other thing I loved, it's slightly lighter with the Shinarans, is Loyal trolling Uno.
That was so good.
Yeah, it's so good.
Like, he is so earnest. In the books, I love that they made him a little bit more, like, just fun.
Yeah. They give him a little bit more,
He's Perrin's bestie.
Yeah, he is.
Also, the character that neither of you noticed, Hot Massima.
Listen.
The character that I, Adelaus, have to, like, slut up for, my pussy was dripping looking at him.
I just remember seeing people talking about hot semen, yeah. Hot semen. People talking about hot semen. And I was like, wait, who? What? And even when I went back and watched it, it still took me a second to realize who they're talking about. I was like, oh, this one. Okay, so the one who's not Ingtar, this guy.
Yeah, the one that's not Ingtar, that has the shaved sides of their head, that's very hot.
It's actually so funny because, I watched the first 2 episodes on Wednesday because there was a screening in London. And after the screening, I was with who? I was with maybe Sulin and a few other. And one of them made a comment about Hot Sema. And I was like,
who?
Like, I didn't say anything, but like, he was in this episode? And then it's like on my train ride back home that I was like, I finally got to see it. I was like, oh, that's this guy.
I love this for us.
So I may be a little gay.
I know. I was like, I mean, if there was any doubt, if there was any question in anyone's mind, in my mind, anyone, that I was just a little bit gay, this I think solidifies it. Because
yeah,
boy, did that go over my head. Boy, oh boy.
Yeah.
I'm happy for y'all, though. I'm happy you got some you got some more eye candy. Good. That's good.
That's what we need, more eye candy.
Yeah.
And he's shirtless in episode 3 or 2.
No, that's episode 2.
Yes. Oh, when he's fighting. Yes, that's right.
Oh, that's episode 2. I don't know. They all blur together.
I know.
Do we want to move into spoilers?
Yeah. Let's go in. Let's dive into the spoilers.
Oh my god.
So the one thing I wanted to talk about with the Dark Friend Social was it's in Teleron Riyadh.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
So the girl just dreamed herself there, like, as people do.
Because her mom is there, so, which makes sense.
Well, is her mom there? Or did she just, like, think that's her mom because it's a dream?
Oh, maybe.
Oh.
Interesting. I didn't think about that.
I didn't even consider that. Because she says mom, but...
She says mom, but also in a dream.
That's true. That's a good point.
I will just say something not really related, but I've seen a few people on Twitter being like, oh, is that also the girls that escape from, like, Perrin's scene? It's not the same girl.
It's not the same girl, but for a quick second, I did.
I thought it was, yeah.
Because I did have to go back and check, because I was like, they look very similar.
They look similar. It's not her.
And also, I love that... Oh, so I don't think that Balzamon... Like, I don't think there's going to be a Moradin. I think it's just Ishamael.
I think so, too.
I'd be fine with that. It's too complicated, and we have 7 to 8 seasons, so...
Yeah, we don't need all that.
Get rid of the reincarnation and people coming back.
Yeah.
Over and over. Like,
we don't need that.
It's fine.
It's too much. We have enough characters to keep track of to begin with.
Oh my god.
More than enough. And even for like us who are like super book fans who know, like, you know, are pretty well versed in the different characters, I am having trouble keeping track of everyone, and we're only like a season and a few episodes in.
That's actually something that is very different between season 1 and season 2. I feel like the cast, the number of people of named character per episode has increased a lot from season 1 to season 2.
Oh my god.
Yep.
With the Aes Sedai.
Like, I think for the second episode, there's like 49 people on the cast list on the IMDb. Not all of them are named, but there's a lot more people.
Yeah.
Compared to like 8, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not complaining about it at all because it feels more full. It just feels more like, there's a lot more going on. It feels more lived in, I think, especially with like places like the White Tower. You see people walking around, like it's not just empty hallways and kind of, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I was very impressed with how many people there were.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
So, Leandrin,
Mm-hmm.
Black Aja,
Yeah.
Yes.
Shiriam
Yes.
showing up,
Black Aja.
Black Aja.
Can I just say,
Uh-huh.
there's 11 Aes Sedai talking about Nynaeve and Egwene and about like how well they're doing with the power. There's only 4 of them that are named and talking. 3 White Lady and Alana. The 3 White Ladies are all Black Aja.
White Aja or White Ladies?
White Ladies. Because it's like Sheriam, Leandrin, and Joya
Yeah, Shiriam, Joya, and Leandrin.
are all Black Aja. And it makes me laugh because there is a controversy within the fandom about whether there's some colorism going on within the Wheel of Time. There is a little bit of that. We do see some, like, especially with important characters, dark-skinned character have a bit of tendency of being bad.
Yes.
It's less true with unnamed character. I do notice a lot more dark-skinned character, like novices, accepted, and...
Yes.
But there is still this issue, and I was looking at that, and it made me laugh because I was like,
That's a good point.
It is nice that
Yeah.
Elias is very dark-skinned, although he
Yes.
is morally gray. So,
He is.
but also he's like a wolf dude, so that's controversial too.
Yeah, it's I mean, he is in the sense that he is on the fringes of society, I think. It'll be interesting, at least in the books. It'll be interesting to see how he's portrayed in the show.
right.
And whether they'll play up more like the morally gray aspect, or if it will just be like, he's a wolf brother, and so just naturally he is other,
I mean, there are lots of people of color. Like, all of the... I was just about to say Varen, but I'm like, Varen's Black Aja too, so...
Yeah, that's more complicated though, but yes, she is Black Aja as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Turak is also a dark-skinned man.
Yeah.
Fane.
Mm-hmm.
Fane, Aemon Valda...
That's why I'm very happy that Even is getting more screen time and more dialogue, because that's a good one.
We need a dark-skinned dude just being awesome.
Just being great and being non-problematic.
I do think replacing Huron with Elias was the right move.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And the same thing with Van Dien. Adelius, however you want to interpret that.
Yeah.
Getting rid of one of the sisters is smart.
It is.
Yeah.
Because it gives Varen a reason to be there earlier without her being in Faldara, because you had to have her there.
Yes.
And they're making her more prominent because in book 2, she was there for a little bit, but she didn't really do much.
Exactly.
Now she's doing stuff.
She's doing quite a bit now.
There's a lot of sentence said by characters that indicates future foreshadowing, or either it's Easter eggs or it's foreshadowing. It depends, but like it's nodes that book readers will get immediately.
Yeah.
Maxim saying, "You always make me feel like the third wheel." It hurts when you know that Maxim is the one that's supposed to die.
Yeah.
Look, Taylor Napier.
I don't want to think about it yet.
You don't deserve this.
Yeah, I don't want to think about it. Alana teaching them how to purify water.
Yes.
Yeah, the Brita weave.
Okay.
I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
I personally did not make that connection because to me, those are two hugely, vastly different things. But it could be foreshadowing for Saidar or Saidin.
We're still talking about purifying something.
Mm-hmm.
It's purifying something. It's the concept is out there now. Like of the
right.
This concept is out there. Yeah.
The concept is out there. Yeah.
I really liked. Perhaps Fane had a reason. You may find it worth asking the question. And this is Ingtar saying that.
Ingtar is not being subtle about hiding his allegiances. Like, he is clearly conflicted.
He is.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it.
Which is great. It's great because he is obviously feeling supremely guilty. Like he knows what he's done and what he's doing is not right. And he doesn't. Yeah. It's fantastic.
There was also something else that I noted. The hunt for the Horn of Vali called in Ilian, Trolloc raids near Arfel, and another false dragon has declared himself in Saldea. They say is even more powerful than Logain.
Mm-hmm.
So Mazrim Time.
He was mentioned in this episode as well, right?
He was mentioned in episode 2.
Episode 2, okay.
Trolloc in Arfel, I don't remember that. Arfel is one of the Borderlands, or...
Yes, it is.
Okay, that makes sense.
That makes sense.
I do... So, the comment Leandrin made about being able to feel the source but not being able to touch it when she shielded Nynaeve.
You can still feel it, but you can't touch it, can you?
Yes.
Yeah, it keeps going back to the whole, like, is Moraine shielded or stilled? And we don't know.
I mean, I heard that sentence that I directly thought about that because I went back to see what Ishamael had said at that point, and it's like to know the one power is there just at the end of your fingertip, but you can't quite touch it.
Oh, okay. So it is the same. Okay.
Yeah, and it's I like that they are under the impression that she has been stilled. And I think Moraine is under the impression that she's been stilled because they wouldn't know, to them, they wouldn't know any different. And they don't necessarily know the effect of being shielded by, one, a Forsaken.
I disagree because I think they would know what it means, like someone that's stilled can't feel the one power.
Right, yes.
It's actually complicated because I was looking into the books like after season 1 came out, and there's a few moments with Yuan where it's like you can still somehow feel it, but sometimes the connection is broken. There's still something which make it even more painful.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like if someone was to delve Moraine, maybe they would find out it's a shield, but I'm not sure she would allow anyone to delve her.
That's true.
Because she's convinced she's stilled.
Yeah.
Episode 2, but she doesn't even want to talk with Lan about that.
No. Yeah, she's very much, she's accepted her situation. Or
right.
In her brain, she's accepted her situation. In reality...
Right, she has resigned herself to death.
And so she has no reason... To her, there's no reason for her to dig any more into this.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I guess the last bit we have about Moraine, Camille, you had something?
Moraine found a poem.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming it's the one about Lanfear and the daughter of the moon and this kind of thing. I am curious whether we're actually gonna see it / hear it.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen the promo of Ishii releasing
Lanfear.
Yeah.
Lanfear, so, and I think he says that.
I think he does.
I think it was Pavara that translated it.
At least partially, yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's that, and I think we might, if we don't get the clear, yes, this is what it is, I think we can safely assume that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but like we are a book reader who knows things. I'm curious what they're gonna show for non-readers or clear they're gonna make it. That's the part I'm curious about.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see for sure.
I love the foreshadowing of Egwene cleaning Suan's room and looking at the Amerlin soul for a little bit longer than she should have.
Yeah, it's great. It is great. Yeah, it's I really like the sort of pieces that they are placing on the board that are not going to pay off. Like these things are not going to pay off until like a couple seasons later.
Season 4, yeah.
Yeah. But it's going to be fun to look back and be like, oh, yes, that's right. They did set this up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Meanwhile, for Nynaeve, there was a sentence for Leandrin that made me tilt about how you saw that wave only once and you were able to copy it. I kind of remember it being a big thing in the books, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes. She was a very quick learner.
Yes.
Yeah.
When she could channel, she picked it up. Like she was very... Because I think that's what it is, too. It's not just that Nynaeve is very powerful. It's that she gets connections and she makes connections that not everyone else necessarily makes and is able to pull,
right?
Which is going to become important later on.
Right, because everyone else has to study.
Yes.
She just sees it and she's like, okay, cool.
Yeah, I got it.
What's practicing?
Mm-hmm.
Somehow I vaguely remember Egwene being also a bit like that.
Yes.
Once she started experimenting a bit more with the power.
Mm-hmm. I think Egwene is still kind of in that period. Like, she's still in that period where she needs to just
Chill.
relax. She needs to chill the fuck out a little bit.
Alana said it.
Yeah, exactly. And Alana, listen, Alana's right. Alana knows what she's talking about.
Alana misunderstood on purpose.
She did. Yeah, she did. It doesn't mean she was wrong. Maybe she just wanted Egwene to have some,
Yeah.
Who do you think Alana think like?
Yeah, that's the part I didn't know. I think she's just like, oh, good on you for being horny.
Good on you. Yeah.
Novices aren't supposed to fuck, but good on you.
You can fuck other novices.
That's true.
You go find your pillow friends.
She's sure there's something going on between Egon and Nynaeve.
Can you imagine? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Ew. Yeah, I can't even think about that.
Yeah. I think one last quick point that I had was about Egwene and Nynaeve and the tension that is building between them, which I think is a tension you do find in some later books, especially once they're both accepted and there's this power struggle between the two of them, with Egwene very much wanted to show Nynaeve that she's equal. Mm-hmm. Yeah, curious where they're going with that tension.
It'll be interesting. Yeah, and it's different. I think their relationship is different than it is in the books, because I think in the books, Nynaeve is much more domineering towards Egwene. Like, she's much more almost controlling. Like, she's like, this is my pupil. This is my student.
This is what's happening.
This is what's happening. And I think the Nynaeve and Egwene relationship we get here is a lot, there's more warmth to it. Like, there's a lot more, I think it's more that...
It's more maternal.
Yes, exactly. It's more that Nynaeve wants to protect her. That's where more Nynaeve's motivations are coming from. And so it'll be interesting to see how both of their journeys later on is impacted by that, because I would be surprised if it sort of played out in the same way, because Nynaeve isn't really, she's not the same sort of like, it's just more protecting than anything.
Yeah.
All right. Do we have anything else for this episode?
Not really. Great cast. Great. I honestly had a lot of fun with this episode.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It was a great back into the season.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it did a very good job of establishing where we are, laying out the foundation for the season, and also teasing a lot of stuff. So I think it was really good.
Yeah, 8 out of 10 for me.
And as promised, hopefully, in the course of the episode discussing episode 1 of season 2 of The Wheel of Time, here is what I like to call possum takes. I know that we had possum discussions in episode 2, but this is mostly about episode 1. And me, in true Matt fashion, I forgot what episode 1 was called. But generally, I was in Iowa over the weekend. I had some family stuff going on. I really needed to see my family. And it was wonderful. It was rejuvenating. I got to torment teenagers and spend quality time with my cousin. It was fantastic. But I still wanted to be part of the general, the hype around the new season of The Wheel of Time. So I am recording just a few reactions to the first episode. And I'll probably do the second episode at some point in the next few days because I'm lazy and I'm still barely awake. So, without further ado, I will talk about what I say as the good, the bad, and the ugly. And, of course, this being season 2 of The Wheel of Time, the first category is far and away the biggest category. So, I think my favorite part of this episode was probably, getting introduced to Rand, just seeing him as a new person, even though it was just a glimpse. And I know people complained about Rand not being part of the episode. Well, they can go and get fluffed. Seeing him for the first time, even if it was just a split second, seeing how he's changed, both physically and he's even more sad now somehow, I think was probably one of my favorite things. And of course, there was also the hunt for the horn that Perrin and Ingtar and the others got to get in with, and Loyal trolling Uno was it was fantastic. I love you, Loyal. I love you, Hamed. I love everything about you and your acting and the character portrayal. It was beautiful. Loyal is one of my favorite characters from the books, at least the earlier books when Robert Jordan remembered to write him. And I really think that the show is starting to recapture some of that horror elements that were I don't want to say lacking, but they were more present in the earlier parts of season 1 with Shadar Logoth and the Trollocs and the blood and the way that they did the Dragon's Fang in the form of bodies. I think that hunting for the horn and finding villages that were decimated by Padan Fain and his little gang of miscreants, I think it really added a layer of horror to the show that I was really happy to see. So other things that I loved, I don't know, like I think, well, there's also Matt, I think, and I know James. Well, you know what, James? You're not here. You can't argue with me. So this is me having all the Matt Cawthon love that I want to have, and you can't do anything about it. When Matt mimicked Leandrin's closing the door behind him, I knew that Donalfin was our Matt Cawthon. I used to say no disrespect to Barney, but after seeing just that one scene of Donal just acting the shit out of the role, I can say that it reconfirms my opinion that Barney was the weakest actor of the Emmonsfield Five by far. I don't know why he left. I don't care. It's not relevant. I wish him the best, but this is a good change. We have a Matt Cawthon who is very much a member of the EF5, and he's very much a member of the cast. The chemistry, which I'll talk about later, with other actors and characters is just phenomenal. So that was another fantastic part of the episode. Let's see. And Matt Cawthon is awesome. Suck it, James. Or don't. Oh, why did I say that? Okay, so that's the good. Let me see if there's anything else good. Oh, the White Tower. Nynaeve, the Stank Water, Egwene, Alana. Like, there's just so much to talk about, honestly. And this is really not supposed to be a long episode of its own because my lovely co-hosts have already gone through and talked about and reacted to the episode, but I think the scenes in the tower were just phenomenal. Varen, I love Varen. I know some people say that that they have concerns that she's not awkward, and I see where they're coming from, but I think Varen in the show is going to have to do some heavy lifting for other characters that are no longer present, and I think for that they're going to have to change a little bit of her personality, and I'm totally cool with that. But most of all, I love what I saw of her. And is it Adelace? I don't know how to pronounce her name, and y'all don't give me shit for it. I drove 3 hours yesterday. It's hot outside. I don't care how to pronounce her. Adelace, whatever. And Tomas, that whole crew was fun. And I loved seeing Varen brought to life, and I cannot wait for future episodes with her. So that's the good. The bad is really I don't have a lot. I really did not like the Moraine and the Lan dynamic. I get that Moraine is now shielded or she's cut off from the source temporarily. And as someone who has struggled with anxiety and depression, I know what it's like. I've never suffered from like a deep, deep depression I think that Moraine's going through. But I just do not like what they've done with her character. I think there's a difference between being depressed and being hopeless and just being mean. And I think she's being cruel to Lan, and I don't think that Lan deserves it. And I don't think that it is a good character change. I think it's relying on a TV trope of, nobody understands me, and I have to do this thing by myself, and I have to keep this secret, and I have to push people away from me. I don't like it, and no one can make me like it, because it's my opinion. And it's mine, and I've formed it after watching the show, after thinking about it for several days after, and I still think it just was a bad decision. The counter of that is a great decision, and this is going to be more of episode 2 discussion, but I think that Rand and Selene being together in Karhine, and Selene as an innkeeper really, really works. I'm going to talk about that change later, but it's fantastic. And now the one ugly thing, which is, once season 2 gets going, it's phenomenal. It's amazing. It's probably going to be my favorite season of the show so far. These episodes were just generally much stronger than the average season 1 episode. But I would say that the time jump really threw me off. There wasn't a lot of indication of what was happening, how much time had passed. They tried to get it through in some dialogue. And the biggest thing is, and I know this is probably one of the most contentious parts of discussing the episode, but them not talking about the clusterfuck that happened in at the end of episode 8 with Uno and Ingtar and Loyal, and pretty much everyone just getting stabbed and dying. That was a mess. I am not a season 8 apologist. I thought there were some brilliant moments, but it was by far the weakest episode for me. But also I understand why we got what we got, and it's not their fault. They did the best that they could with the situation they were given. And some people say that they don't want to see any explanation of why Ingtar and Loyal and the rest were alive at the beginning of episode 1 of season 2. I see where you're coming. I don't agree. I think clever writing could really easily explain away, or at least give some sort of context to that. And the fact that they just sort of ignored it told me that it's something that they want to brush under the rug, and that's really not what I like to see in television or novels. If you write something, either edit episode 8 or do something to address what's happening. Also, the Nynaeve nearly burning out thing, totally skipped over. It seemed like there's just an awkward and, like I said, an ugly sort of break between episode 8 of season 1 and episode 1 of season 2. Once we get into the groove of things in season 2, it's fantastic, but it's just such an awkward and clumsy transition from one season to the next. But those things said, my criticisms and my, the ugly part of the show, I think overall I would give episode 1 probably a 7.5 to an 8 out of 10. The Moraine stuff really, really shook me out of the immersion. But everything else was just so brilliant. The writing is amazing, and this is the sign of good TV, or the sign of improving TV. When an episode or when the writing is at what I consider to be its worst, it's still a step up from the worst of what we got in season 1, and I think that's a great sign. And I'm so excited to see what's going to happen in the rest of the season. And I am just so excited to see these people on the screen again. I'm excited to see more colored weaves. I'm excited to see different cities. It's just so much fun. And I had so much fun in this episode. And that's pretty much all I have. My coffee hasn't kicked in yet. I am just sort of yeeting myself through the day. I don't know if kids still say yeeting, but whatever. I'm saying it. So it's still relevant.
All right. Thank you guys so much for listening to The Queers of Time. We have been gay. Follow us places on X. And on Blue Sky and Patreon if you want to follow us and give us money there, because this is expensive and we're getting back into it and we're excited to be doing it. Mm-hmm. But also we need that coin. So, thank you. Anything else I forgot? I haven't done an outro in
Our Discord.
Oh yeah, our Discord. Our Discord is actually really active.
Yeah, it
is. And that's awesome. So if you want to have a safe place to be gay, mm-hmm. and you're on Discord and you're a Wheel of Time nerd, come join us. You can find the link in our bio on X. On Twitter.
Oh, gross.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you all for listening. This was Queers of Time, a Wheel of Time podcast. The music is Dance of the Witches by Julius H.